Welcome back. If you saw The Wicker Man and Messiah of Evil back to back, which almost no one has because one is a canonical horror film and the other is a half-forgotten oddity, you'd notice something strange. They don't look alike, they don't sound alike. One is a British folk horror set on a remote Scottish island, the other a dreamy, art-inflected American film set on the California coast. But they produce the same feeling. That feeling of arriving somewhere needing help and realizing slowly that no one here is going to help you. Not because they're cruel, not because you haven't asked nicely, but because there is no one left who could. Everyone in this place is already spoken for. And the rest of the film is just you figuring out what that means. Let's take a look. Mild spoilers for Messiah of Evil, but definitely spoilers for The Wicker Man. So both of these films begin with someone looking for someone else. In The Wicker Man, it's Sergeant Howie, a police officer from the mainland, flying to the remote Scottish island of Summerisle to investigate a report of a missing child. He has authority, he has a uniform, he has a letter asking for his help. He arrives expecting his presence to mean something. In Messiah of Evil, it's Arletty, a young woman driving to the coastal California town of Point Dune to find her father, an artist who's stopped writing to her. She has his letters, she has his address, she has nothing else. She arrives hoping to find him at home. Neither of them finds what they're looking for, and in both cases the reason is the same. Not that the person they're searching for is hidden, but that there is no one in this place that will help them. No ally, no informant, no sympathetic local willing to break ranks. The entire community, every person in it is unreachable, sealed off. Not hostile exactly, or not only hostile, but simply unreachable. This is the experience both films share. You arrive somewhere, you need something from the people there, information, connection, help, and slowly you realize that no one is going to help you because there is no one left who could. But the reason for that is completely different in each film, and that difference is what makes these two films taken together so unsettling, because they show that this experience of total exclusion has more than one cause. A community can become inaccessible to you because it gave itself away or because something took it. Let's start with what these places look like, because both films make an important choice. They set their horror in beautiful places. Summerisle is green and lush. The sun is out, people sing, there are flowers everywhere, orchards, May Day preparations, ribbons, costumes, dancing. It looks like a postcard of pastoral Britain. Point Dune is the California coast. Blue water, open sky, the extraordinary house Arletty's father left behind. Its interior covered in painted murals, life-sized figures on the walls, pop art landscape. It looks like a gallery. It looks like a dream someone had of the American West. They're both beautiful, and the beauty matters because it delays recognition. In an ugly or a threatening place, your guard goes up immediately. But in a beautiful place, the realization that no one is available to you comes slowly. You keep expecting the next person to be different. You keep thinking that you haven't found the right door yet. The beauty tells you there must be someone here who will help. Look how lovely it all is. Look how alive. On Summerisle, the community gave itself away. The islanders are present, vividly, undeniably present. They sing, argue, celebrate, teach their children. They have culture, personality, warmth. These are fully realized people living rich lives. And every single one of them has chosen to be part of something that makes them unreachable to Howie. They chose paganism, fertility rites, sacrifice, a cyclical relationship with the land that requires blood. They committed themselves freely, willingly, and with conviction. The community wasn't taken from them. They gave it to a belief system that now organizes every aspect of their lives. This is what makes Howie's investigation so futile. He's looking for cracks in a facade, but there is no facade. The islanders aren't hiding their beliefs, they're open about them. The children sing about death and rebirth in school. The maypole ritual is public. Lord Summerisle explains his philosophy at length, with pleasure. No one is lying to Howie, not really. They're simply operating within a framework he refuses to enter. And this is Howie's particular failure. He's a devout Christian, a man of law, a man who has decided before arriving what the world is and how it should be organised. When the islanders show him who they are, he rejects it. He tells them they're wrong. He threatens them with a legal authority that means nothing to them. He treats the investigation as a problem of compliance. If you can just make them behave as they should, the truth will emerge. He never considers that the community might be operating on a logic he can't access with the tools he brought. And so he misses what's being constructed around him. Because the community didn't just give itself to paganism in general, it gave itself to a project that requires him specifically. He was always the point. The letter that brought him here was the bait. His role was assigned before he arrived. This is the horror of a community that's given itself away. It becomes purposeful in a way you can't see. Everyone is coordinated. Everyone knows the plan. The devotion that sealed them off from you is the same devotion that allows them to act in concert, invisibly, towards an end you won't understand until it's too late. In Point Dune, something took the community. The people are still there physically. They go to the supermarket, they sit in the cinema, they walk on the beach. But there's no culture left, no personality, no real conversation. They haven't committed themselves to anything. They've been emptied. Whatever they were before, whoever they were, has been replaced by something that wears the shape of daily life but contains none of its substance. Arletty arrives and finds her father's house full of evidence. His journals describe the town's history, the dark stranger who came from the sea, a blood moon, a cycle that repeats across centuries. He understood what was happening. He wrote it all down. He documented the thing that was taking his community, taking his neighbours, and eventually taking him. And none of that helped. Understanding what was consuming Point Dune gave him no power over it. This is what Arletty inherits. Not a puzzle to solve, but a record of someone else failing to solve it. She can read every warning her father left. She can piece together the history, the pattern, the mechanism, and none of it makes the community reachable because the community isn't withholding itself, it's just gone. There's no one left who could help her, even if they wanted to. The people in Point Dune weren't sealed off by choice or devotion. They were taken away, consumed by something cyclical and vast and completely indifferent to whether anyone understands it. This is why the set pieces in Messiah of Evil work the way they do. The scene in the supermarket where the store gradually fills silently with people who aren't shopping. They're just there, standing, watching. Or the cinema, the seats filling row by row with silent figures. These scenes use the form of daily life, going to the store, watching a film, but the content has been emptied out. The people aren't participating in anything. They aren't organised, they aren't purposeful in the way the islanders are purposeful. They're simply present in a way that feels wrong. They aren't coordinated against Arletty. They were just consumed and now they consume in turn. So this is the distinction. On Summerisle, Howie can't reach anyone because everyone has already given themselves to something. They've shared project and a shared joy. Their unavailability is active. They chose it, they maintain it, they direct it towards a specific end. When Howie finally understands what's happening, when he's placed inside the Wicker Man and burned, his death means something to them. He's the most important person on the island. He just didn't know what kind of importance that was. In Point Dune, Arletty can't reach anyone because everyone has already been taken by something. They're not devoted, they're consumed. They're not organised, they're emptied. Their unavailability is passive. They didn't choose it, they don't maintain it, they aren't directing it. Arletty's survival or otherwise doesn't mean anything to the community. She isn't important, she isn't necessary. The cycle didn't come for her specifically. She just happened to be there, like a person standing on the shore when the tide comes in. Howie's death confirms he was seen all along. Every interaction, every misdirection was built around him. He was never investigating freely. He was being guided to a destination by a community that saw him far more clearly than he saw himself. Arletty's fate confirms she was barely registered. She passed through something vast and impersonal. It would have happened whether she came or not. Both films then produce the same experience. You arrive somewhere and find that no one is reachable. Every door is closed to you. Every potential ally is already gone, committed or consumed, devoted or hollowed out. You are alone in a populated place, which is lonelier than being alone in an empty one, because a populated place keeps suggesting that help is possible, that the next person will be different, that someone here will see you for what you are and offer you something human. But no one does, and the films differ on why. The Wicker Man says because they chose something else, something that requires all of them and leaves nothing for you. A community that has given itself away is a closed system. You can stand inside it and still be entirely outside. The Messiah of Evil says because something took them, something older and larger and utterly indifferent to human meaning. A community that has been taken isn't a closed system, it's an empty one. There's no one inside to access. There's nothing to break into. You could have the key and it still wouldn't matter because there's nothing behind the door. And I think both of these get at something real about the experience of being somewhere new and finding yourself completely alone. Sometimes it's because the people around you are together in a way that excludes you. They share something you can't access, and their closeness is your isolation. And sometimes it's because the connection you came looking for simply isn't there anymore. And there's nothing you could have done differently, and no version of you that would have been enough, because it's not about you at all. Whether it's worse to be excluded by devotion or by absence, to be the sacrifice or to be nothing at all, I don't know. Both films leave you stranded. Both films say no one is coming to help you. They just disagree about whether anyone ever could have in the first place. Enjoy the movie.